We all begin with a dream, to earn enough to feel secure, happy, and free. But here's the strange truth about money. No matter how much we earn, enough keeps moving farther away. The world doesn't teach satisfaction. It teaches comparison. From childhood, we are told to do better, get more, be first. We grow up believing success is always ahead of us. Our first salary feels like a start. Then we want double. We buy our first car. Then we want a better one. Someone posts a vacation photo. Suddenly our life feels smaller. That's not ambition. That's addiction. The addiction to more. We don't chase money. We chase the feeling money promises. Respect, power, comfort, love, all hidden behind numbers on a screen. And when the numbers rise, so do our expectations. We forget that happiness doesn't scale like wealth. It cannot be multiplied. It cannot be calculated. It must be experienced. Some of the richest people still wake up anxious because peace isn't bought, it's built. Money magnifies comfort, but it also magnifies confusion. It amplifies fear. It amplifies insecurity. Take a moment and ask yourself, what am I really running for? Security or attention? Growth or comparison? If fear drives your earning, you will never feel enough. No number will satisfy. If purpose drives your earning, even small success feels monumental. Even small gains feel meaningful. Every person you envy has someone they envy too. That's the chain of dissatisfaction, a silent race with no finish line. You think the next milestone will calm your hunger. It only feeds it stronger. It grows. It spreads. It whispers that you are never enough. The paradox is simple. The moment you stop chasing others, you begin catching yourself. Real wealth begins, not in your bank account, but in your mindset. Money is a mirror. It reflects who you are, not who you pretend to be. Lose control of it. It controls you. Master it. It serves you. Pause. Look at what you already have. Say to yourself, I already have enough to build my peace, my growth, and my freedom. That's when the myth of more begins to break. That's when clarity emerges. That's when real wealth begins. The moment you stop measuring life by others, you start living life on your own terms. Gratitude replaces envy. Purpose replaces comparison. Peace replaces restless ambition. You stop chasing. You start building your mind, your life, your freedom. Because the richest currency is calm. The strongest investment is clarity. The deepest growth comes when you stop running for everyone else. Comparison is everywhere, yet we rarely see it. It hides in plain sight. It whispers quietly, shaping what we buy, how we work, and who we think we are. You scroll your phone. A friend buys a car. Someone posts a vacation. A colleague celebrates a promotion. A stranger shows off their life. And suddenly your own calm day feels smaller. Comparison doesn't steal money. It steals peace. It steals joy. It steals the quiet satisfaction of your own journey. You begin buying to prove something, working for attention instead of purpose, living for applause rather than fulfillment. It disguises itself as ambition, but it is insecurity. And insecurity is expensive. It makes you spend what you don't have, chase what you don't need, race in a competition with no finish line. A tree doesn't compete with another tree. It grows silently, patiently, toward its own sunlight. Stop comparing, and you begin to grow. The person you envy today might envy someone else tomorrow. No one ever feels enough. It is an endless loop. Those who step out of the loop win quietly. They understand that wealth is not about more. It is about meaning. The richest souls chase better reasons, not bigger things. Real success is quiet. It is when peace costs nothing. It is when joy cannot be bought. It is when life is measured by purpose, not applause. You notice the shift. You buy things that serve your peace. You save to gain control, not to show off discipline. Transformation begins. Comparison fades. Clarity grows. You stop asking, how do I look compared to them? You start asking, how do I feel about me? Money begins to serve your growth. It stops defining your worth. Peace becomes your currency. Gratitude becomes your wealth. Slow down. Detach from the noise. The real victory is alignment, not competition. Step into your own path and escape the myth of more. Look at your life. Notice the choices you make without pressure. Notice the calm in simply being. This is wealth beyond numbers. This is freedom beyond accumulation. When you let go of envy, you let go of a lifetime of restless chasing. And in that space, your own vision emerges. Your goals, your values, your definition of success. No one can take it from you. No one can measure it. No one can define it. Because real wealth begins when you stop running for everyone else and start living for yourself. We all believe money is logical. Numbers, accounts, budgets, it seems predictable. We think if we plan enough, if we calculate enough, if we save enough, life will obey us. But the truth, life doesn't obey logic. It responds to emotion. Every investor, every worker, every dreamer begins with hope. If I do everything right, I'll be safe. If I plan perfectly, I'll succeed. But no one truly controls outcomes, only actions. Markets fall, opportunities vanish, plans collapse, people change, and in those moments the illusion cracks. We see how fragile our control really was. Yet that fragility isn't weakness. It's liberation, because once you stop trying to control everything, you start focusing on what truly matters, how you respond, not what happens. Emotions shape choices more than knowledge. Fear drives selling. Greed drives risk. Pride drives spending. Regret drives hesitation. Most of us don't fail because of skill. We fail because of our feelings. We underestimate how powerful our own mind is. We underestimate how easily it can trick us. The financially wise understand this. They know that money is a reflection of behavior, not intelligence. They know patience outlasts panic. Consistency outperforms brilliance. Think about the last time you panicked over money, or spent to feel better, or avoided a risk because of fear. That was emotion at work, not logic. Wealth is emotional discipline. It's not about predicting the market. It's about predicting yourself. You cannot control every outcome, but you can control how you act when the outcome surprises you. When the market falls, the calm investor sees opportunity. When the market rises, the calm investor sees restraint. When others panic, the calm investor remembers purpose. Money magnifies human emotion. It amplifies fear. It amplifies desire. It amplifies joy. It amplifies regret. That's why emotional mastery is the ultimate currency. It isn't flashy. It isn't celebrated. It isn't posted online. It is quiet. It is internal. It is steady. The people who build lasting wealth aren't the smartest. They are the ones who can endure their own impulses, who can pause when emotion says, act now, who can wait, watch, and choose wisely. Because the biggest risk is not losing money. The biggest risk is losing yourself. If you cannot control your emotions, your wealth will control you. It will vanish. It will frustrate you. It will define you. The wise investor knows life will surprise. Markets will wobble. Plans will break. But clarity, discipline, and emotional calm are unbreakable. Every dollar saved, every investment made, every risk taken. These are not just numbers. They are reflections of who you are, how steady you are, how patient you can be, how aligned you are with your purpose. Money is emotional. Wealth is emotional. Peace is emotional. The moment you understand that, you start winning quietly, without noise, without panic, without endless chasing. Because life is a long game, and the mind that masters its own emotions will always win the longest race. We all want quick results, instant wins, immediate gratification. The world is built on speed, likes, and applause. But wealth isn't built in a day. It's not measured by a single decision. It grows quietly, slowly, like roots under soil. Invisible, patient, persistent. The long game is invisible. It doesn't look glamorous. It doesn't make headlines. It doesn't impress anyone but you. Wealth built fast is fragile. It is built on luck, not mastery. It is a castle on sand. One storm, one mistake, and it collapses. The long game requires patience. It requires restraint. It requires the ability to endure discomfort, to say no when the world screams yes. Every small decision compounds. Every habit matters. Every dollar saved, every risk taken wisely, every lesson learned. They grow into a fortress of freedom. Think of your emotions as the engine of wealth. Fear can stop you. Greed can destroy you. Discipline can carry you. Patience can transform you. It's tempting to compare your progress to others, to measure your journey by someone else's milestones. But the long game ignores comparison. It ignores applause. It ignores envy. The long game is built in silence, and choices made when no one is watching. In the quiet moments when emotion says act fast, but you say wait. When everyone else spends, you save. When everyone else panics, you pause. Consistency is power. Compounding is magic. Time is your ally. If you respect it, small actions today lead to enormous results tomorrow. A habit of saving, investing, learning, listening, observing, understanding yourself. These are the foundations of real wealth. People fail not because they don't know, but because they want the shortcut. They chase results instead of process. They chase applause instead of meaning. The long game requires endurance. It requires humility. It requires trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, trust in time. You cannot predict the future. You cannot control the market. You cannot avoid every mistake, but you can control your habits, your patience, your response to fear, your response to greed, your focus on what truly matters. The long game rewards the steady, the mindful, the aware. It punishes impulsive decisions and shallow thinking. Wealth is invisible first. It grows under the surface. You won't see it immediately. You won't feel its full power yet. But one day, quietly, it reveals itself. Freedom, security, peace. The people who play the long game are often ignored. They are overlooked by the impatient and envious. They are mocked for restraint. They are misunderstood for calm. But in the end, they win, quietly, completely, without chaos, without panic. The long game is not exciting. It is fulfilling. It is safe. It is powerful. And it is available to anyone who chooses patience over instant gratification, discipline over emotion, clarity over noise. Build slowly. Build wisely. Build consistently. The long game doesn't just create wealth. It creates character. It creates freedom. It creates a life where peace is the reward and comparison no longer matters. We think wealth is about accumulation, more money, more possessions, more status. But the truth is simpler. The richest people are not the ones with the biggest homes or the flashiest cars. They are the ones who own less of what doesn't serve them. They focus on what matters, and they gain freedom. Simplicity is power. Clarity is wealth. The fewer distractions you carry, the more energy you can direct toward growth, learning, and life itself. We complicate life with noise. We chase trends, gadgets, approvals. We hoard things we don't need. We measure success by what is external, and in doing so, we surrender freedom. The paradox of money is this: the less you need, the freer you are. The less you crave, the calmer you feel. The less you chase, the more you grow. Money can buy comfort, but only wisdom buys freedom. Only patience buys security. Only restraint buys peace. Ask yourself, what do I truly need? What adds value to my life, my mind, my growth? What creates space for me to think, to act, to live fully? Every unnecessary purchase, every impulsive choice, every action made to impress someone else takes freedom away. But when you simplify, you see clearly, you feel clearly, you act clearly. The emotionally wise know this. They don't let scarcity drive them. They don't let envy control them. They focus on the essentials, and the essentials are often invisible. Time, energy, focus, peace, relationships that matter, moments that matter. Simplicity is not deprivation. It is liberation. It is the ability to say no to noise and yes to growth, yes to purpose, yes to freedom. The more we accumulate, the more fragile our freedom becomes. A single loss feels catastrophic. A single mistake feels devastating. But the simpler your life, the less there is to lose, and the more there is to gain. Think of your mind as an investment. Every distraction, every clutter, every comparison steals returns. Every moment spent in reflection, focus, and understanding compounds. It grows silently. It grows powerfully. It grows into freedom. Money without clarity is heavy. Wealth without purpose is hollow. Possessions without choice enslave. But when you simplify, when you align money with purpose, when you remove what doesn't serve, you gain control. You gain energy. You gain peace. You gain freedom. This is the ultimate paradox. The less you chase, the more you catch. The less you own, the freer you feel. The less you seek from the outside, the more you find inside. And that is the power of simplicity, the power of clarity, the power to live life on your terms, without comparison, without fear, without chaos. Build less to gain more. Focus on essentials. Master yourself, and freedom follows. Because true wealth is never in possessions. It is in choices, in peace, and life lived on your own terms. We chase, we compare, we spend, we worry, and yet the truth is always quiet. The truth waits in the spaces we ignore. The truth waits in simplicity and clarity and patience. The myth of more is everywhere. It tells us we are never enough. It tells us our worth is measured by what we own, by what we display, by what others see. But that is an illusion. It is a mirage built to keep us running, to keep our attention distracted, to keep our focus on things that do not last. Real wealth is invisible. It cannot be posted. It cannot be bought. It cannot be stolen. It is in peace. It is in patience. It is in purpose. It is in freedom. Ask yourself, do you want to chase the endless race, or do you want to build something real? The richest people aren't the ones with the largest accounts. They are the ones who understand the rhythm of money, who understand their own rhythm. They know that success is not measured by accumulation. It is measured by alignment, by consistency, by growth. Comparison will always exist. The world will never stop showing what others have, but you can stop letting it define you. You can stop measuring your worth through others' reflections. Pause. Reflect. Decide. Every choice you make compounds. Every habit, every decision, every reaction matters. This is not just about money. It is about your life. It is about the freedom to live it fully, without fear, without envy, without endless chasing. The long game, the emotional mastery, the simplicity, these are not shortcuts. They are disciplines. They are practices. They are commitments to yourself. Life will surprise you. Markets will shift. Plans will fail. People will change. And you will have a choice. Will you react in fear, panic, or comparison? Or will you act with clarity, purpose, and calm? The choice is yours. The moment is yours. The power is yours. This is the essence of the myth of more. The moment you stop running for others, you start building for yourself. You begin to see clearly. You begin to act wisely. You begin to live freely. True wealth is never about having more. It is about being more aware, more patient, more disciplined, more aligned. Stop chasing. Start building. Master your mind. Master your choices. Master your freedom. And then you will understand the myth of more was never about money. It was about your mind, your decisions, your peace. We live in a world obsessed with speed, fast results, instant gratification, quick wins, and yet wealth has never rewarded speed. It rewards consistency. It rewards patience. It rewards the quiet, daily actions repeated over years, not months. Compounding is more than math. It's mindset. It's the understanding that small, deliberate actions today create massive results tomorrow. The person who saves a little every week, the investor who holds through the storms, the learner who grows a little every day, these are the people who become unshakably wealthy, quietly and steadily. Patience is hard, especially when the world screams, do it now, get it now, prove it now. We scroll, we compare, we panic. We want results we cannot see, and in that impatience we sabotage growth, not just in money, but in life. Look at the long-term investor. They do not obsess over daily fluctuations. They do not chase trends. They understand that time is the real multiplier. They understand that wealth is invisible in the moment, but unstoppable over years. This is true for money, yes, but also for skill, for relationships, for personal growth. Every moment of patience is a deposit into your future freedom. Every pause, every thoughtful decision, every small action compounds like interest in a bank you cannot see. The impatient mind wants to measure results daily. The wise mind measures habits. The wise mind understands that the system, the process, the strategy, these are where wealth grows. Think of a tree. It does not grow taller in a day. It does not compete with its neighbors. It grows silently, slowly through seasons and storms. Its roots deepen long before its branches stretch high. Wealth works the same way. You cannot force growth. You cannot control outcomes. You can only nurture the conditions. Keep acting. Keep learning, keep saving, keep investing, And sometimes the most powerful action is waiting. Waiting while markets shake. Waiting while others panic. Waiting while the world rushes. Patience compounds into confidence. Patience compounds into freedom. Patience compounds into calm clarity that no loss, no mistake, no shock can shake. The hardest battles are internal. The whispers of impatience, the fears of missing out, the lure of instant gratification. And yet, mastering these whispers is where real power lies, because the slower you move with purpose, the faster you grow in life and wealth and peace. Every time you resist a rash decision, every time you save instead of splurge, every time you study instead of imitate, every time you hold instead of sell, you are compounding patience. You are building habits that become unstoppable. The world may mock the patient. It may call them boring, slow, or naive. But time is the quiet ally of those who endure. It rewards the steady. It rewards the deliberate. It rewards the calm. The paradox is simple. To move fast, you must first master patience. To grow, you must first wait. To achieve, you must first endure. Every step taken with awareness, every choice made with intention, every day lived with discipline. These are deposits into a future no one can steal. Patience is the engine of compounding. Consistency is the fuel. Wisdom is the guide. And when they align, wealth is inevitable, because life, like money, doesn't respond to speed. It responds to persistence, clarity, and the quiet power of patience. Patience is not passive. It is active. It is deliberate. It is choosing to act with awareness rather than react with impulse. Every investor, every dreamer, every builder faces the same test. Will you chase the immediate, or will you honor the long game? Compounding is the quiet hero of wealth. It does not shout. It does not demand attention. It grows silently, invisibly, until one day the results speak louder than noise ever could. Consider this. A single habit, repeated daily, may seem insignificant in the moment. A small investment, a tiny saving, a few minutes of learning, all of it feels like nothing. And yet, over time, these nothing moments become the foundation of everything. A decade of consistency is worth more than a year of frantic effort. 100 disciplined choices outweigh 1,000 impulsive ones. The temptation is always present. Social media screams, act now, show off, compare. Everywhere we see stories of sudden success, overnight wealth, instant fame. It is intoxicating. It is dangerous. It lures the impatient mind into traps that destroy more than just money. The patient understand a secret few see. The visible result is never the goal. The process, the habit, the rhythm, that is where power lives. Look at the gardener. The soil is prepared. Seeds are planted, watered, protected. For months, nothing seems to happen. Then, one morning, shoots break the earth. Months of care, patience, and consistency erupt into growth. Money works the same way. Invest, save, learn, repeat. Ignore the noise. Ignore the shortcuts. Ignore the urge to measure results daily. Instant gratification is a thief. It steals discipline. It steals focus. It steals the magic of compounding. The long-term investor knows that calm is power, that waiting is not weakness, that enduring storms quietly is courage. Every time you resist panic, every time you skip the temptation to show off, every time you hold on to value instead of chasing trends, you are multiplying your future strength. Patience compounds into confidence. Patience compounds into freedom. Patience compounds into the clarity That allows you to see opportunity where others see chaos. The paradox is simple. The more you endure, the more unstoppable you become. The more you resist the urge for speed, the faster your life unfolds. The more you embrace the slow, deliberate rhythm, the stronger your foundation grows. The world rewards the impatient with illusions. It rewards the patient with reality. Consistency beats talent. Time beats luck. Patience beats panic. This is the true power of patience. Not just in money, but in life. Not just in wealth, but in freedom. Not just in growth, but in mastery. When you understand this, you begin to act differently. You invest differently. You spend differently. You live differently. And the result is inevitable. A life that grows silently, steadily, and powerfully. Without chasing, without envy, without panic. Comma. Because compounding is not a trick. It is a law. And those who respect the law of patience will reap the rewards no rush, no fad, and no short-term thinking can ever give. Patience is not a waiting game. It is an understanding game. It is the art of seeing time as your ally, not your enemy. Every investor faces moments of doubt. The market dips. Opportunities seem to vanish. The urge to act impulsively rises. It is in these moments that most fail. They sell when they should hold. They chase when they should observe. They panic when they should prepare. But the patient see differently. They know that temporary turbulence is not the enemy. It is a test, a filter, a signal to act wisely. The long-term mindset is simple, yet profound. Focus on habits. Focus on consistency. Focus on process. Every dollar saved is a soldier. Every investment held is a shield. Every thoughtful decision is a brick in your fortress. Impulses will scream. Fear will shout. Greed will tempt. But the disciplined mind listens only to reason, not noise. Consider the investor who ignored every hot tip, who resisted every social pressure to spend, who invested slowly, steadily, and deliberately. Decades later, the result is undeniable. Wealth born from restraint, patience, and foresight. This is not luck. This is compounding in action, not just in money, but in skills, relationships, and life. The impatient mind measures results daily. The wise mind measures habits. The impatient seeks applause. The wise seeks alignment. The impatient fears missing out. The wise fears short-term mistakes that jeopardize long-term freedom. Resisting instant gratification is not easy. The world rewards the loud, the fast, the flashy, but the long game is quiet, invisible, slow, yet unstoppable once it grows. Every time you choose to hold instead of sell, to save instead of splurge, to study instead of imitate, you are compounding not just wealth, but wisdom. You are building a mind that cannot be shaken by noise, a strategy that cannot be broken by panic, a life that cannot be stolen by distractions. And here's the paradox. The more you embrace patience, the faster you grow. The faster you grow in confidence. The faster you grow in clarity. The faster you grow in peace. Patience is not passive. It is deliberate. It is mastery over emotion. It is courage disguised as calm. The strongest investors, the wisest builders, the most fulfilled lives, they all share the same secret. They trust the process. They honor time. They embrace patience. The reward is inevitable, because compounding does not hurry. It does not plead. It does not negotiate. It multiplies quietly, steadily, until one day you realize your life has changed. The choices you make today, the patience you practice today, they determine your freedom tomorrow. They determine your peace tomorrow. They determine your wealth tomorrow. And when you see it, when you feel it, you realize the truth. Patience is not a limitation. It is the most powerful accelerator you will ever know. It is the key to turning small, deliberate actions into unstoppable growth. It is the bridge between desire and reality. It is the path to a life that is not hurried, not frantic, not desperate, but aligned, steady, and unstoppable. Patience is not just a habit. It is a strategy. It is the difference between fleeting success and lasting wealth. Every action, every choice, every decision compounds over time. The smallest act of restraint today becomes the foundation of freedom tomorrow. The impatient chase the next headline. They jump on every trend. They panic when the market trembles or life surprises. And in that frenzy, they burn opportunities, not just money, but trust, confidence, and focus. The patient pause, the patient observe, the patient act deliberately. Consider the power of consistency. A single habit repeated daily seems insignificant at first. A small saving, a tiny investment, a moment spent learning, each one alone feels like nothing. But time is the silent multiplier. Days become months, months become years, and suddenly what was invisible has grown unstoppable. The long-term thinker does not measure wealth by today's numbers. They measure by the habits they practice, the systems they build, the discipline they cultivate. They understand that freedom comes not from rushing, but from enduring. Every temptation resisted is a deposit into your future. Every moment of clarity is an investment in your peace. Every choice to act with discipline, instead of impulse, multiplies your power exponentially. The world pushes urgency. It idolizes speed. It rewards the loud and flashy. But the quiet, deliberate, patient investor, they win silently. Because they understand a truth most ignore. Growth is not a sprint. It is a journey that rewards awareness over reaction, calm over chaos, and steady action over fleeting ambition. Think of the gardener again. The soil must be prepared, the seeds planted, watered, protected. Seasons change, storms come, and yet the tree grows, not because it rushed, but because it endured. The same is true for wealth. You cannot force compounding. You cannot control outcomes. You can only nurture, repeat, and endure. The patient investor knows the market will fluctuate. They know life will surprise. They know fear and greed will whisper constantly. But they have built a rhythm, a system, a mindset that no noise can break. And here's the final secret. Patience compounds more than money. It compounds confidence. It compounds freedom. It compounds clarity. It compounds resilience. The longer you practice it, the stronger you become, the wiser your decisions, the steadier your path. Consistency, patience, and deliberate action. These are the true multipliers, the engines of wealth that never tire, the builders of lives that no storm can destroy. And once you internalize this, once you truly embrace patience, you begin to see opportunity where others see chaos. You begin to act when others panic. You begin to build when others stumble. This is the essence of part 2. The slower you move with purpose, the faster you grow in peace and wealth. The longer you endure, the stronger your foundation. The more deliberate your actions, the greater your freedom. Because patience is not a waiting game. It is the master key to life, money, and freedom. It turns small steps into giant leaps. It turns clarity into confidence. It turns discipline into unstoppable growth. And with that understanding, you are ready for the next step. The world of risk, luck, and timing, where preparation meets opportunity, where courage meets discipline, and where the mindset of the patient truly pays off. Life and money share the same truth. Nothing is certain. Every success story carries both risk and luck. Every fortune built holds unseen battles with chance and timing. We like to believe the world is fair, predictable, controllable. We like to think that if we work hard enough, plan perfectly enough, and follow the right formula, we will succeed. But the truth? Even the smartest investors, the most disciplined builders, the most diligent planners, they cannot control everything. Markets fall, opportunities vanish, plans collapse, people change. Risk is everywhere. It hides behind certainty. It wears the mask of confidence. It waits silently until you underestimate it. And yet, the impatient blame luck. They say, I tried, but I was unlucky. But luck is not random. It rewards preparation, patience, and perspective. Timing is the invisible multiplier. Your chapter 2 cannot compete with someone's chapter 10. You cannot compare yourself to the person who started earlier, learned faster, or faced different circumstances. All comparisons distort focus. All comparisons dilute growth. Courage and caution are partners in the dance of wealth. Too much caution, and opportunity slips away. Too much courage and recklessness leads to loss. Balance is not found in avoiding risk. It is found in understanding it, respecting it, and preparing for it. The financially wise don't fear risk. They study it. They measure it. They decide when to act and when to wait. They understand that mistakes are inevitable, but devastation is optional. Luck favors the prepared. Timing favors the patient. Risk rewards the disciplined. Consider the investor who misses the hot trend everyone chases. At first, it feels like failure, but patience allows perspective. The trend fades. The market corrects. And the patient investor, disciplined and aware, gains far more in the long term than the one who chased noise. Wealth is not a single event. It is a series of decisions repeated with clarity, caution, and courage. It is the intersection of preparation, opportunity, and timing. It is the art of acting decisively when the moment arrives, and waiting quietly when it does not. The people who succeed consistently understand a secret. They cannot control luck. They cannot command timing. But they can control their readiness, their discipline, and their patience. Every dollar saved, every decision measured, every habit maintained. These are the tools they wield to shape their outcomes. They transform chance into opportunity. They convert risk into growth. They allow time to work its compounding magic. The impatient chase headlines. The wise chase alignment. The reckless chase trends. The deliberate chase mastery. And mastery is the true multiplier. It turns preparation into opportunity. It turns awareness into profit. It turns patience into freedom. The paradox of risk, luck, and timing is simple. You cannot control the world, but you can control yourself. You cannot force opportunity, but you can prepare to seize it. You cannot eliminate uncertainty, but you can navigate it with clarity and calm. The strongest investors, the most successful builders, the wisest decision makers, they do not pray for luck. They do not hope for perfect timing. They cultivate skill, patience, awareness, and courage, because in the end, wealth is never about certainty. It is about preparation. It is about discipline. It is about knowing that no matter what chance throws at you, you will rise. And when you internalize this truth, fear no longer dictates choices, greed no longer blinds judgment, and luck no longer intimidates vision. This is the foundation of Part 3 understanding that risk, luck, and timing are allies, not enemies. They are forces to respect, understand, and navigate with steady, deliberate action. Luck is not magic. It is preparation meeting opportunity. It is awareness ready to act. It is patience aligned with timing. Consider the investor who watches the market shift daily. Fear whispers. Greed tempts. Impulse urges action. The impatient jump. They chase every trend. They buy high, sell low. They panic when others panic. The prepared pause. They analyze. They calculate. They act only when the conditions align with strategy, not emotion. This is the difference between fleeting success and lasting wealth. Preparation. Luck does not favor the frantic. It favors the ready, the disciplined, the observant. Timing is invisible to the careless eye. It is the secret weapon of those who endure. The right decision at the wrong time can fail. The wrong decision at the right time can flourish. Understanding this is mastery, not in predicting the world, but in positioning yourself to respond when opportunity appears. Risk is never absence of reward. It is the companion of growth. Every successful investor, every entrepreneur, every life builder has risk woven into their story. They don't fear it. They manage it. They respect it. Risk is measured by knowledge, experience, and awareness. Luck is multiplied by patience and preparation. Timing is refined through observation and understanding. Consider the story of a business built during a downturn. Many would see failure, scarcity, and danger. The prepared sees opportunity. The patient sees growth. The disciplined sees strategy. Every moment you wait, every decision you refine, every choice you align with purpose. You are stacking advantage. You are shaping luck, risk, and timing into tools for wealth. The impatient see chaos. The wise see probability. The reckless see obstacles. The deliberate see openings. This is the invisible power of mindset. It transforms uncertainty into clarity, fear into calculation, risk into growth, and luck into a predictable ally. You cannot control the market. You cannot command chance. You cannot dictate timing. But you can control your actions. You can control your patience. You can control your discipline. You can control your awareness. And that control compounds faster than any investment ever could. Every disciplined choice, every calm response to volatility, every patient action creates invisible wealth, not just in money, but in confidence, freedom, and clarity. Because the financially wise do not pray for luck, they do not gamble with timing, they do not fear risk, they prepare, they observe, they act with intention. And when opportunity arrives, they are ready. That is the secret the world rarely teaches. Success is not in controlling outcomes. It is in controlling yourself. It is in stacking preparation, patience, and insight against the unpredictability of life. The stronger your foundation, the steadier your response. The wiser your choices, the greater your growth. The more disciplined your mindset, the more fortune aligns with you. Risk, luck, and timing are never enemies. They are instruments. They are tools to be learned, respected, and mastered. When you grasp this truth, you stop fearing the unknown. You stop reacting to noise. You begin to navigate life like a strategist, not a gambler. This is the essence of Part 3. The world is unpredictable, but your mindset can be unstoppable. Luck will follow preparation. Risk will reward awareness. Timing will serve patience. And with that mastery, every uncertainty becomes an opportunity. Every challenge becomes a lesson. And every moment builds toward freedom, Practical wisdom lies in seeing risk not as an enemy, but as a guide. Every choice carries a consequence. Every investment carries uncertainty. Every decision carries opportunity. The moment you accept this, fear no longer rules. It becomes a compass pointing you toward preparation, guiding you to act deliberately, not impulsively. Imagine two investors. One panics every time the market dips. Every headline triggers anxiety. Every rumor sparks action. They buy high, sell low, and repeat the cycle of stress. The other watches calmly. They have allocated, diversified, and planned. They understand probability. They know timing is invisible to the impatient. They do not fear short-term drops. They see patterns. They see opportunity. This difference is invisible at first. It looks like nothing, but over time the results compound. Preparation multiplies luck. Discipline mitigates risk. Timing rewards patience. In life, the same rules apply. Decisions made in haste, driven by emotion, rarely produce lasting results. Decisions made with clarity, informed by experience, guided by principles. These decisions build not just wealth, but freedom and confidence. Risk is manageable when you know yourself, when you know your tolerance, your goals, your boundaries, when you have a plan, a strategy, and the patience to see it through. Luck is amplified when you put yourself in positions to benefit, when your actions align with opportunity, when you prepare quietly while others chase noise. Timing is mastered not by predicting the future, but by observing patterns and aligning your actions. It is the art of acting decisively when the conditions are right. The financially wise do not control outcomes. They control readiness. They control response. They control themselves. Every decision, every habit, every disciplined action builds a foundation strong enough to navigate storms, seize opportunities, and turn uncertainty into advantage. Consider compounding in practice. Small, consistent choices accumulate quietly. A little risk taken wisely today multiplies over years. Patience applied consistently today produces exponential results tomorrow. Mistakes avoided through discipline save far more than luck can provide. Wealth, freedom, and clarity are never accidents. They are built, brick by brick, decision by decision, habit by habit. The world may reward luck and timing randomly, but the prepared mind converts those moments into certainty. Not in numbers, but in mastery. Not in fortune, but in freedom. Not in haste, but in clarity. The paradox is simple. The more uncertainty exists, the greater the advantage for the patient, the disciplined, and the prepared. The more chaos surrounds you, the more clarity multiplies your power. And here is the ultimate truth. Risk, luck, and timing are not obstacles. They are the instruments of growth, the stages upon which preparation, discipline, and patience perform. The moment you internalize this, fear no longer dictates action. Chaos no longer distorts judgment. Luck no longer feels random. Timing no longer feels unfair. Instead, you act with confidence. You act with clarity. You act with purpose. This is the mastery of part 3. You cannot predict everything. You cannot control everything. But you can control how prepared you are, how deliberate you act, and how patient you remain. And in that control lies true power, true wealth, and true freedom. Every person carries a story about money, a story that begins long before the first paycheck, long before the first investment, long before the first financial decision. It starts in childhood, in the lessons whispered, the examples shown, the fears inherited. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard to get it. Rich people are greedy. You'll never have enough. These stories shape how we think, feel, and act around money. They become invisible scripts guiding every choice, every spend, every save, every risk, every hesitation. Some stories empower. They teach abundance, patience, and discipline. They encourage curiosity, courage, and thoughtful action. Other stories trap. They breed fear, scarcity, and anxiety. They bind us to cycles of living paycheck to paycheck, chasing illusions of wealth that never satisfy. The first step to financial mastery is recognizing your story, the story you inherited, the story you created, the story you repeat unconsciously every day. Once you see it, you can ask, does this story serve me? Does it guide me toward freedom, clarity, and growth? Or does it keep me running in circles, chasing approval, comparing endlessly, fearing every loss? Most people never question their story. They let fear and habit dictate their financial lives. They work hard, earn more, spend faster, and feel less. They chase numbers instead of meaning. They chase status instead of freedom. But those who master their money master their story. They rewrite the script. They question assumptions. They challenge inherited fears. They replace scarcity with abundance, fear with preparation, and impulse with discipline. Your relationship with money is never just about numbers. It is a mirror of your mind, your habits, your beliefs. Change the story, and the reflection changes. Change your mindset, and the way you handle money transforms. Think about it. Two people earn the same amount. One lives in fear, comparing, stressing, always wanting more. The other lives with awareness, clarity, and purpose. The difference is not wealth. It is the story they tell themselves about wealth. Rewriting your story is not easy. It requires honesty, reflection, and courage. It requires noticing every impulse, every emotion, every habit, and asking, why am I doing this? Am I acting from fear, from desire, from curiosity, from purpose? The stories we tell about money also shape risk, patience, and timing. They influence how we invest, how we save, how we spend, how we plan. They determine whether we see setbacks as failure or lessons, whether we see opportunities as chance or preparation. Every dollar you invest, every decision you make, every habit you form is a reflection of this story. The more aligned your story is with freedom, clarity, and purpose, the more your actions multiply into real wealth. The day you rewrite your story, you begin to act differently. You spend with awareness. You save with intent. You invest with strategy. You measure success by growth, peace, and freedom, not by status or comparison. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, your financial life changes. Your habits compound. Your mindset compounds. Your freedom compounds. The story you tell about money is the story that will shape your life. And once you understand that, once you take control of that story, you are no longer a victim of circumstance, trends, or luck. You become the author of your own financial destiny. Because money listens to the story you tell. It responds to the mindset you cultivate. It multiplies when you act with clarity. It grows when you act with patience. It aligns when your choices reflect purpose, awareness, and wisdom. Master your story. Master your money. Master your life. Richness is loud. Wealth is quiet. Rich people buy things. Wealthy people buy freedom. The world celebrates flashy possessions, cars, houses, clothes, vacations. It measures success by display, by applause, by envy. And many chase that applause. They work harder, spend faster, compare endlessly, and feel perpetually behind. They are rich in things, but poor in peace. Rich in perception, poor in freedom. Wealth, on the other hand, is invisible. It doesn't need to be shown. It cannot be photographed. It is built quietly, compounded steadily, and enjoyed privately. Wealth is measured in choices, in the ability to say no, in the freedom to act without pressure, in control over your time, your attention, and your life. Living below your means is not small thinking, it's long thinking. It's understanding that every dollar saved today becomes a tool tomorrow, a tool to invest, to grow, to protect, to free yourself. Those who chase richness often mistake spending for success. They confuse status with security. They believe visible possessions equal achievement. They borrow, they leverage, they stretch, all for the illusion of power. The wealthy understand the hidden cost of appearances. They know that chasing applause consumes attention. It generates stress. It magnifies fear. It amplifies envy. Freedom, not applause, is the highest dividend money can pay. Time, not possessions, is the most valuable asset. Peace, not prestige, is the ultimate wealth. Consider 2 lives. The first is filled with luxuries. The car is new, the phone is latest, the house is decorated. But the hours are long. The mind is anxious. Every purchase is a compromise on freedom. The second life is quieter. Choices are deliberate. Investments are made with foresight. Time is owned. Energy is preserved. Decisions align with values. And happiness is not conditional on approval. That is the invisible power of wealth. It compounds silently. It grows with patience, discipline, and focus. It cannot be stolen by comparison or social pressure. It cannot be measured by likes, comments, or applause. Richness is temporary. Wealth endures. And wealth whispers, it does not shout. It builds resilience against uncertainty. It shields against volatility. It frees the mind from fear and distraction. Wealth allows you to act, not react. It enables opportunities, not obligations. It secures choices, not possessions. It creates a life where decisions are made from desire, not desperation. The paradox is simple. The richer you appear, the less wealthy you may be. The quieter your life, the greater your freedom. The less you chase approval, the more your wealth compounds in money, time, and peace. Every financial decision matters. Every habit builds momentum. Every mindset shapes outcomes. Choose wealth over richness. Choose freedom over status. Choose patience over instant gratification. Choose clarity over comparison. Because the ultimate currency is not money. It is the ability to live life on your terms, to direct your energy toward growth, learning, and meaning, to own your time, to protect your mind, to nurture your peace. The moment you see this distinction, everything changes. Your spending becomes intentional. Your saving becomes powerful. Your investing becomes strategic. Your life becomes your own. Wealth is not about what you show. It's about what you control. It's about freedom, clarity, and choice. And once you grasp this truth, richness loses its allure. Status loses its power. Comparison fades. Peace becomes natural. Freedom becomes inevitable. The richest life is not the one you broadcast. It is the one you quietly, deliberately, wisely build. The goal of money is not power. It is not status. It is not applause. The goal of money is freedom. Freedom to choose. Freedom to act. Freedom to live life on your terms. Time is the ultimate currency. Energy is the ultimate asset. Peace is the ultimate wealth. Yet so many trade freedom for comfort, security, or prestige. They work long hours, chase high salaries, and borrow stress along the way. They exchange their most valuable asset, their time, for fleeting symbols of success. The financially wise understand the formula. Money is a tool, not a master, not a measure of worth, a tool to create autonomy. There are 4 foundations to this formula: earning, saving, investing, detachment. Earning provides resources. It is the fuel for growth, security, and opportunity. But earning alone is powerless without control over spending. Saving is not deprivation. It is liberation. It is the ability to act when the unexpected arrives. It is the margin that transforms fear into opportunity. Investing multiplies time. It is compounding in action. It turns small decisions today into large freedom tomorrow. It is patience applied, discipline rewarded, and foresight realized. Detachment is the secret most never learn. It is the art of owning without attachment, using without fear, and living without obsession. It is the mindset that money serves life, not the other way around. Consider freedom in practice. A person who earns, saves, invests, and detaches strategically does not worry about trends, opinions, or social proof. They are resilient. They are calm. They are in control of their time, energy, and choices. Contrast this with someone who chases every opportunity, every trend, every shiny object. Their life is dictated by markets, opinions, and the next distraction. Stress becomes constant. Decisions feel heavy. Time slips away unnoticed. Freedom compounds like money. Small, deliberate actions build over time into exponential autonomy. Every dollar saved, every hour invested, every decision made with awareness, every attachment released. These actions accumulate into independence. The paradox is simple. The more you chase control, the less free you become. The more you focus on freedom, the more control you actually gain. The freedom formula is not a strategy for wealth alone. It is a strategy for life. It is the roadmap to peace, clarity, and choice. It transforms money from a source of stress into a source of empowerment. Imagine waking up with full control of your time. Your decisions are no longer dictated by necessity or fear. You act with purpose, invest with clarity, and spend with intention. You build experiences, not debt. You nurture growth, not obsession. You live fully, not reactively. This is the highest dividend money can pay. Not interest, not returns, not capital gains, but freedom. And the beauty of this formula is that it is universal. No matter your income, your background, your status, or your circumstances, you can apply it. You can start today. Earning, saving, investing, detachment. 4 pillars. 1 life, infinite freedom. Master this formula, and money becomes your ally, not your jailer, not your master, because true wealth is never in numbers. It is in choice. It is in clarity. It is in the freedom to live your life deliberately, boldly, and fully. The moment you embrace this formula, the richest game of all is already won. We began with the hunger for more, the endless chase, the silent comparisons, the illusions of achievement. We learned that true wealth is not in accumulation, applause, or status. It is in clarity. It is in patience. It is in freedom. Part 1 taught us the myth of more, how chasing others, comparing endlessly, and mistaking possessions for success leaves us empty. We discovered that happiness doesn't scale with numbers. It scales with understanding. understanding why we chase, what we value, and what truly matters. Part 2 showed us the power of patience. We saw that wealth doesn't reward speed. It rewards consistency, discipline, and long-term thinking. Compounding is not just math. It is mindset. Small, deliberate actions, repeated with focus, create results far beyond the immediate. In Part 3, we explored risk, luck, and timing. We understood that no one controls every outcome. Luck is unpredictable. Timing is delicate. The key is preparation, courage, and prudence, the ability to act wisely when opportunities arrive. Comparing your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 10 only steals your focus and freedom. Part 4 brought us into the story we tell about money. We reflected on the inherited beliefs, fears, and habits that shape every financial decision. By rewriting our story, we take control of our actions, our mindset, and ultimately, our financial destiny. Money listens to the narrative we carry. Change the story, and the reflection changes. Part 5 contrasted wealth versus richness. Richness is loud, fleeting, and visible. Wealth is quiet, enduring, and invisible. It is measured not in possessions, but in choices. Freedom, peace, and alignment with purpose are the truest forms of wealth. The richer you appear, the less wealthy you may be. The quieter your life, the greater your freedom. Finally, Part 6 revealed the freedom formula. Money is a tool, not a master. Earning, saving, investing, and detachment. These are the 4 pillars that compound into freedom. Time, energy, and peace are the ultimate currencies, far beyond what any bank balance can show. The moment we embrace this formula, we reclaim control, clarity, and choice. True wealth is not numbers. It is the ability to live deliberately, wisely, and fully. The journey through money is also a journey through ourselves. It is a mirror of our fears, our habits, our patience, our courage, and our purpose. The one who masters their mind, their choices, and their story wins the richest game of all. Stop chasing illusions. Stop measuring by others. Start building for yourself. Act with awareness. Invest with patience. Spend with intention. Live with freedom. The psychology of money is simple, yet profound. More is not the answer. Control is not the answer. Comparison is not the answer. Patience, purpose, clarity, and freedom are the answers. When you understand this, everything changes. Your decisions, your mindset, your money, your life.